No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Are you ready to reach for the stars? Tune in to The Lost Wanderer, the #1 monthly podcast on good pods in astronomy. Join our host, Jeff, as he takes you on an interstellar adventure to explore the mysteries of space and the wonders of science. From rocket launches and distant galaxies to the latest discoveries in astronomy, each episode is a thrilling ride through the cosmos. Don't just gaze at the stars. Come explore the universe with us. Follow The Lost Wanderer wherever you get your podcasts, and let's discover the stars together.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
And good Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Jen and Rick Show. I am Rick. She is Jen. And I don't know why I almost always say that backwards. And Rex, you're not telling me anything I don't already know, brother. So, but thanks for the candor, my friend. How you doing, Jen? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I do still just love this AI image, though. It's so good. I love it.
Oh, yeah, that one, I'm actually pretty proud of that one. It took a few takes, but it turned out really well. So,
I mean, so many of them, like, often don't look like the people, and, like, this is pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, we were just talking about AI off air before we came on, and, you know, there are a lot of pros and cons. I like it for stuff like this, for sure. It's just fun.
Yeah, I used it today. I've had a bunch of sketches that I made years ago, and I figured out that GPT's gotten pretty good at drafting style drawings. So I actually used it to put together some sketches and make it in. And so I had some fun today while I was working on audio projects. I was like, okay, so this is going to take forever to render. So I'm just going to play around on my computer while this is doing its thing. And so, yeah, I did a couple of things today with AI, and I was like, hey, these turned out really, really good.
Yeah.
Better than I drew them 30 years ago.
Well, and I was telling you, just like in my work recently, I've been able to utilize it for very practical things. I hate the like rely on it for every little thing, but when I'm doing charts and spreadsheets and graphs and needing to like change information and plug stuff in the right way and organize it and whatever, putting it into one of those models really really helps. And sometimes just cuts down on so much time that like that isn't something that I'm worried about it taking over. You know what I mean? Like that's not necessarily going to eliminate any job. It's just going to make certain jobs more efficient. And that I can get behind for sure, because all along the way, that's what technology has done for us in a lot of aspects. So we'll definitely have enjoyed its use for some of those things. And, like I said, I have to correct some stuff, but correcting a few things versus having to input a ton of information all over again to make it the way it needs to be is so worthwhile for me in those instances. So, I think we're trying to figure it out, and I hope they don't take us all over in the end.
Well, I mean, the good news is when we get to that point, you and I probably won't be here anymore. But
True.
I will say this: with every technological advancement, there's always the people that are used to doing things the other way. They're like, "Oh my God, this is going to end so many different jobs," and then it just turns out that it just winds up bringing in different jobs.
Right. Well, I mean, even think about like going back to like e-readers coming out, like Kindle and whatever. They're like, this is the death of books. No, it wasn't. Like there's still a huge demographic that loves to hold a book in their hand and turn the pages physically. And so it helped them be able to take less with them on a quick trip or something, so they have that Kindle to like pick up where they left off. But like when they're at home, they still want to read their book, or they still want to hold it in their hand while, at the beach when it's hard to get the glare off the screen. That kind of thing. Like it didn't get rid of paperbacks and hardbacks. It just opened up more opportunities to read. So, there can always be like the good side of it. So hopefully we'll figure out how to do that and not have it say coach people to kill people or themselves, which has been an issue as of late.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are always going to be downsides with it. I mean, but I don't really buy into the whole, the downside of, oh my God, this is going to kill everything. I mean, I don't even think honestly, because Elon's talking about, having affordable robots here in the next 5-10 years, and everybody's like, oh my God, this is going to end everything. I'm like, no, it won't. It'll just mean that humans start doing other jobs of some sort that will come up because of this.
Or innovators, right? Like
Yeah.
we are innovators. So when something like that has come along throughout the course of history, when planes happened, when we were able to utilize all kinds of different technology that was coming about, sending men to the moon, we came up with new ways to need more jobs, more things, and create more. That then eventually maybe technology does have a part in and take over too. But we never stop creating. We never stop innovating. And so I don't think there's a world where there's no need for human, input. I mean, even the AI themselves needs the human input to exist and to succeed. So, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I, talk smack about it and try to have a little bit of fun with it because I do a conspiratainment show every couple of weeks. I don't see this being the end of the world that everybody seems to think that it's going to be. At least not yet. I mean,
right.
And hopefully by the
Well,
time.
and I think too, I always like to kind of like the current news cycle. I always like to take a beat before I completely judge it. Like my initial reaction may be like, no, this is terrible, whatever. But then I as we wait a little bit and see how it can actually work and interact and benefit, and we can benefit from it, kind of is how it comes. I mean, I remember initially with like Blackberries, people were like, oh my gosh, Bing having an email every day I don't want to have that when I'm not in the office. And then it's like it developed into smartphones. And now like smartphones save lives a lot of times because people have it in their pocket when they get in a crash and it alerts authorities. Like there are all kinds of ways in which it can be a good thing. And I say this as someone who doesn't allow my kid to have a phone. But eventually he'll be in that place where we will. And I think that we have to find our own limits and have boundaries about it all. And so it is what you make it, but always kind of wait a little bit and see how it's really going to pan out before I truly make this like, this is horrible. Video games rot your brain. You're all going to be Columbine killers. Like, no, that's not the case. So just pump the brakes a little bit on the hysteria is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. But I mean, that's like, the Kennedy line from our intro where he's like, we choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. Now here we are in 2026 and we've gone back to the moon again.
Which is so fucking cool.
Right?
So fucking cool.
The one thing I will say is I really wish NASA had bought X's equipment. Yeah, not X's, but whatever.
Yeah, SpaceX.
SpaceX's equipment for their video shoots and stuff, because some of that stuff I was like, dude, really?
But you know what? Like I realized, so there are so many things that happen that are kind of monumental, that are just like a rehash of things we've done before, or like a better version of something we've done before that I have normally been around for at least the older version or one of the older versions of, and my son has experienced for the first time. This we're experiencing together because I was not alive for any moon mission. I know them. I've seen them. I was not too far, but I saw space shuttles. I've seen other exploration. I've seen, the satellites and the rovers and all of those things, but I have not been alive for a moon mission, and neither has my son. So we're getting to experience this together for the first time. And that's really cool. Because a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, well, when we did this before, like I was this age or I was that, and now this one's different because, and it's like, no, I've never been alive for a moon mission. We've had the capability. We just haven't gotten back since I've been alive. And that's crazy. And this is so cool that we get to both. And my kiddo, like he loves space. My parents, like my mom is obsessed with like the constellations and the moon and all this. So we got her a really nice telescope about a decade ago. And they always watch like any of the eclipses together. Like we've taken them out of school so we can be with grandma to see the eclipse, like, and then be able to use the telescope on really clear nights and see Venus and see different, like, just different constellations as they are, coming into, our view at different times of year. And so it's just a really fun thing. He's gotten to see all that. And now for this, so he's like really interested, really loves it. And it's so cool. So cool to both be seeing this for the first time together. And of course, like the technology now and what they're able to transmit back to us and the images that are coming out are just incredible. And then seeing the astronauts have fun and all the little things along the way with the little floaty guy and just some nuances stuff. They did a whole little shoot where they mashed it up to the theme house of Full House introducing themselves, like while they're in the craft, being like, "Hello, everywhere you look," and the guy's like turning around, "Oh, hi, what you doing there?" As I'm pushing buttons on a panel. So cool, just really, really, really fun.
It's a good time to be alive, because there's so many things that were science fiction up until about 2 years ago that have become science fact now. And I honestly think because AI is becoming so prominent, and because I know for a fact that a lot of businesses and government agencies have a better version of AI than we're using, some of the stuff that's coming out now is amazing. Like I'm seeing stuff that could revolutionize the medical industry in the next 5 to 10 years that I know AI has played a part in. And I've talked about some of the other stuff that's become like part of pop culture, like on the show Watson. Last season, they used CRISPR technology to get rid of sickle cell disease. That's become part of pop culture now, which means it's something that they know that they could do. I mean, we are on the cusp of so many amazing things. And one of the things that I have hated about humanity for the last few years is we haven't really allowed ourselves to have any outward facing imagination anymore, which is why we've got everything's been turned inward and become introspective. And it's become like this OCD version of everything that could possibly just drive everybody crazy is what everybody wants to talk about now. And you've seen this huge turnaround just from us going back to the moon and from, even Grok's translation feature going worldwide. I mean, people that used to have their information funneled to one another are now talking directly to one another because we have, the great grandfather of the universal translator now at our fingertips.
Japanese Twitter.
Dude, like now even Koreans are getting on board. Like, why are all the Americans only talking to the Japanese folks? Koreans are right here, talk to us too. And this is so awesome because for the longest time everything's had to come through a filter, and you've had this elite class that has been telling everybody what everybody else thinks about everybody else, and now we can just talk to each other. And like Japanese people have figured out that we don't hate them, and we don't think they should feel
right
for things like Fukushima, which for some reason the liberal elites have been telling them ever since that happened that they should be ashamed of what happened with Fukushima. And it wasn't even
that's
their
a
fault.
blight on, like, it's a blight on their society and culture. Yeah.
And then same thing with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And that was one of the things, and I don't remember if we've talked about it on this show or not, but that was one of the things that even so many people on our side got wrong because they were like, oh my God, I can't believe the president made that joke. And look at how upset she is. I'm like, dude, if she was mad at Trump, she'd be looking at her feet. She's staring daggers at the reporter who was stupid enough to ask the question. And then it went viral. And all of Japan was like, you mean we don't have to feel bad about this anymore? Americans are joking about it. This is awesome. I don't have to feel guilty anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what we've been trying to tell you.
Or just even that, like, their perception had been that, Americans don't really have a culture. Like, that's been kind of prevalent forever, right? Like, the Europeans act like, oh, we have culture, you have no culture. You're not old enough to have a culture. You blah, blah, blah. And the Japanese are like, wait a second, there's a whole, not only just a barbecue culture, but like a subset within a subset within a subset of barbecue culture in the United States. I want to see it all. I want to visit. I want to know. I didn't know that there were a million different kinds and that each region does something different. And even within that region, there are different pockets that do something different. Like, that was so fun to watch, like, happen in real time with all of these accounts. Like, and then a few in the last couple of weeks, like, since that really started, there's been a few this week that have been like, oh, hi, I kind of watched this, but I'm currently in America and can confirm I am in Mississippi and was invited to a barbecue just because I existed. Like, and just how cool they thought that was, and that there really was a culture about it, and that from house to house there were different things and traditions that they found. And so I think that's really neat, especially, like I said, since, like, for some reason, the more elitist, snobby Europeans have been saying that we don't have one. We don't have any culture. Even the Canadians have tried to say we don't have culture, but they do somehow. Okay. Only because they have a sector that speaks French and they have some of the, like, it's just silly. Like, of course we have culture, and part of our culture is being blended. That is such a big deal. That's why we are the melting pot, and it is something to be celebrated, that you can find these fusions, that you can find these mashups of, people's homelands and heritage with their current culture, whether they're second generation, first generation, or fifth generation American, that they're bringing tastes of their different cultures and heritage to their current life and to what they're infusing into their own children, and they're sharing with their neighbors. That is such the beauty of, honestly, the World Wide Web, that we can do that. And with so much doom and gloom all the time on the 24/7 cable news networks, which is, kind of needed in a certain way, but also gets bogged down. It's nice to have that really personal connection with people from all over in a way that is easily grasped by this new translation feature that is very cool.
Yeah, well, Rex in the chat is it? He just brought up a good point. Has anybody introduced the Japanese to Bucky's culture yet?
Yes, there's been a whole thing about it. And they're like, wait, we have to go meet the beaver. Like, there's a beaver? Y'all love a beaver? Like, we're going to go do that. And it's like, oh no, honey, you don't even know. And then people are posting pictures. And there was a guy that was just in Texas, I think this week, and he posted like, I have arrived at like the Mecca of Bucky's, and was like just videoing everything around. He's like, I don't even understand. Like, this is so cool. And it was funny because, there's so many cool things in Japan too, because some of the vending machines they have, right, is something like maybe some really super high level corporate offices at like in San Francisco might have like a salad bar type vending machine situation, or where you can get like, I don't know, just super like items you don't think of for vending. They have those. That's part of their normal everyday life that we don't utilize here because it just doesn't make sense for us maybe, or it's just not something that we've prioritized yet. There are all kinds of things like that where we can be wowed by each other's different kind of proclivities and progress, and what's just standard in some places and what isn't in others, and why. I mean, it's just very cool. And I know some people go, oh, we're gonna be a globalist. I'm like, it's not about being global, it's about embracing all of our differences, the differences in our cultures, the differences in our societies, the needs, the wants, the whatever. Like, it's just cool to see that and to kind of, get a taste of it and dive into like what all that is for each. Like, it's just cool. It's just cool to me. But I also love to travel, and I lived in Europe, and I loved going around and seeing what different like sometimes it wasn't even like a country or a region. It was like what each individual town had as their specialty. What was their claim to fame? Like what they valued, what they cooked, what they wanted to present most as something that identified them. And that's so neat. And I don't think that makes you some globalist cuck. I think that's just a cool way to learn about the world and about other people.
I mean, it's been really fun, and we talked about this a little bit on